And we're live. Okay. Today we have a very special guest. How about you introduce yourself?
All right. Well, hi everyone. My name's Georgia Benora. I have been a gymnast from when I was very, very young up until about 24 years old. I'm 30 now, recently 30. So yeah, my I guess main thing is gymnastics. I went to the 2008 and 2012 Olympics. Um, Went to Commonwealth Games, got some medals there. Went to a handful of world championships. Yeah, and went into once I retired, um, went into some Ninja Warrior stuff, which has been amazing. Met like a whole another group of people, which has been so supportive and so welcoming, and um, yeah, it's just been fantastic. And yeah, I guess in a nutshell, that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah, those are some mad achievements with that. Like,
You say it so casually as well. Like, yeah, I was in the
yeah,
Olympics. Yeah, I was a Ninja Warrior. But no,
Yeah.
that's amazing. When did you start doing gymnastics?
I started, to be honest, I don't actually remember when I started. So I must have been quite young. I heard I was two to three.
Woo!
Um, when parents put their kids into, junior gym and things like that. Just as to, I actually think gymnastics is a great thing for toddlers and babies, just to learn, uh, you know, motor movements and things like that. It's just a great thing. So yeah, I started around then. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
no,
dedication.
yeah, that, well, I don't think you have much of a choice in the matter at the start, but obviously, like, you
Yeah,
enjoyed it. You did it for years.
yeah, exactly. I didn't exactly have much choice, but I'm sure if I really, really wanted to stop, it was, I would have just said the word and it would have been an easy thing. So it wasn't like I was forced to do it all my life, but
Yeah, but what was it like representing Australia? Like, twice in the Olympics?
yeah. Look, it was very, I mean, the first time in Beijing, it was pretty, everything was so new. It's like, you go through life and you have a lot of experiences which are a lot like other experiences. And then every now and then you have, a situation which is unlike any other. And that's what Beijing was like for me. I didn't know, I didn't know how to, it's not that I didn't know how to prepare for it, but, um, you know, you've got, you've got athletes from all around the world in, the best athletes from all around the world in one little village competing in the exact same competition in all different sports. So it's pretty incredible. Um, and then yeah, and then I never thought that in 4 years' time I'd go to another one, but I did, and it was just as fantastic. It was I guess the London Olympics was I was able to, because I'd experienced it before, I was able to kind of just enjoy it a little bit. I was able to remember a lot of the experiences and take in a lot more than Beijing, I guess. But yeah, representing your country, like I don't know. A lot of people say, you represent your country, but when you actually think about it, a single person is representing an entire country, and I didn't actually think about it that way for a while, and now I'm thinking about it that way, and it's pretty crazy representing your country. Like you've got a lot of responsibility to, you know, sort of carry yourself with a lot of, I don't know, honor and pride, and
Yeah.
it was a fantastic experience. Yeah.
Yeah, and you said there, like when you went to the 2012 Olympics, that you were able to enjoy it much more. Was it like really stressful at the 2008, or was it just that it was so new that you didn't really get to take it all in?
Yeah, it was probably that it was so new. I mean, I don't think I've ever been more prepared in my life than I was for the 2008 Olympics. I was, it was sort of non-stop high intensity training for a really, really long time. So I was in like peak condition mentally, physically for that competition. But everything was new. So I hadn't been in a village before. I hadn't been on a scale of what the Olympic competition was. And then London came around, and I had a little bit more understanding of what the whole thing was, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Very
No, I don't know what to say to that. Actually, I'm just going to be honest here. No, I have absolutely no idea what to say. It just sounds so surreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's sort of when you're when you're when you're there in the moment, it's sort of you do what you have to do. You do what you're trained to do. And it's not a lot, you don't get a lot of time to sit back and think about, all the things that added up to that particular moment until, years later, you
Like,
you start to think about those things.
like that's years of like diet, exercise, blood, sweat, tears, everything. Just for like to do like your little, I don't know what you call it, routine.
Yeah, routines, yeah.
Yeah. What exactly did you do in it? 'Cause I actually haven't seen like the footage from it.
So a lot of people are kind of selected on the team for different reasons. You could be selected for an all-around position, so you're fairly strong at all of the apparatus, and you have a part to play on each one. And then you could be selected for one or two apparatus where you're exceptionally strong on just that one or that two apparatus. Um, so yeah, in Beijing, I was an all rounder, so I did all four. And when I got to London, I had to kind of draw back on the apparatus because I was getting a little bit broken. My body was a little bit tired and sore and injured, so I had to not do floor. I don't even remember. I think it was floor I didn't do. Yeah, I did bars, I did beam, vault. I sort of added in at the trial. I added in vault because I thought it might help my chances of making the team, and lucky I did. But yeah.
Yeah. I actually went back and watched the 2000. I think it was the floor routine.
Oh yeah.
And Jesus, like it looks like a lot of work. Like it take a lot of practice to land the flips and everything, because I could never see myself doing anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess when you're a spectator and you're sitting in the stadium and you're watching it, it's I mean, I guess it's pretty impressive watching it from that point of view.
Yeah.
But when you're doing it, it's such small progresses from the most basic of movements to what you see in the stadium. So that's why it takes so many years, and that's why gymnasts start so young, because there's just so much to learn. And it takes such a long time to perfect everything to a point where you can be, I guess, trusted to land a tumbling line every single time.
Yeah. And I saw that you did was it the 2010 Commonwealth Games?
Yes, yeah.
How different was that to Beijing and London?
And also, could you explain what the Commonwealth Games are? Because
Yeah.
I know Ireland isn't a part of that.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, so the Commonwealth Games are basically all the countries in the Commonwealth. It's like a Olympics for only the countries in the Commonwealth. So we have a village. Yeah, there's a competition with all the countries. And in 2010, I was 20. It was 2 years after Beijing. So I was kind of in this stage of, I've done the Worlds, I've done the Olympics. Like, do I want to continue? Do I not want to continue? And yeah, I ended up continuing to New Delhi, which I actually got really sick at, which was super unfortunate. It was probably the hardest competition I've ever done, the Commonwealth Games in 2010, because I was so sick. I didn't even think that I would be able to compete. I was in bed when the rest of my team were, they had their bags on their shoulder, ready to leave the apartment, ready to catch a bus, and I was still in bed. That's how much I didn't know if I was going to compete or not. But I did, which I don't even know how, but it was a great experience, and it was a great experience just being in India, to be honest. The culture there is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
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 Actually, just looking here, Australia is ranked number 1 for the Commonwealth Games by 300-ish. It's fair play to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did pretty good that year. Our team came first to that competition, I remember, and I think we got a lot of golds in a lot of other sports.
Yeah,
It's good.
golden team, silver in uneven bars, and bronze in all around.
Yeah.
Well, hey, listen, we all know as a country, Australia is the best. So.
Yeah, Dara got to spend some time there. He absolutely loves it. Never shuts up about it.
Man,
I
actually don't shut up about it. Like, I'm definitely going back and probably, hopefully, living there at some point.
When he arrived, the fire started. When he left, they stopped.
Yeah, so there's this big running joke in our friend group now that I caused the fires in Australia. And even though they started before I got there, Jared.
By like a day.
Not like a day, it was like a month, maybe. No, I went, I spent 3 months in Perth from November to February. And Jesus, like, it's completely different planet to Ireland, like, polar opposite everything. It was lovely.
Yeah, it's pretty different. Did you notice anything different about the people compared to Ireland at all?
I suppose, yeah. Like I was spending time because my brother lives over there with his family, so I spent 3 months with him, and then I kind of met people through them as well, and I feel like Australian people are just very chill and like they like to have a joke, and they're like Irish people, because we kind of just if you're in a friend group, you like take the piss out of each other, and when I had friends over, it's true, like, but like when I had friends over there, it was pretty similar. The only difference was that they kept calling me Lewis Capaldi because they didn't know whether he was Irish or Scottish. So yeah.
Oh, that's funny. He's Scottish, right?
He is Scottish,
right? Yeah, right. Just making sure.
But yeah, the people are lovely, like, and like the cities that we have here aren't too big, so like going from being in Dublin, which is like it for here, it's like it's our biggest city, right, Jared?
It's our only city.
True.
The rest are just considered towns by everyone else.
Yeah, big towns, yeah. But
sure, Galway is a village.
But yeah, going from like Dublin, which is this like small city, and I hadn't really been to any other cities in the world really, and then going to Perth, which is like, for me, like, it might be a small city to some, but like when I got there, I was like, holy shit! Like, there's like skyscrapers and stuff here, and it was just completely different, and even the beaches and stuff were completely different here because we have very rocky, kind of dull beaches, but over there it was just complete white sand, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, if you go to the beach here, you have the worst weather.
Exactly, yeah. And I went rock diving for the first time since I got back. Like, this is the first time I've been in the ocean since I got back from Australia, and just remembering in Australia, I was like, oh yeah, it's warm, so like it's not going to be too bad here. And I jumped in the water, and I was instantly like stinging all over, and I was like, Jesus, there's some difference.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, like I'll definitely be going back at some point. It's a lovely place.
Yeah. Well, I've always wanted to go to Ireland. The closest I've probably gotten is Scotland, actually.
Basically the same.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd really like to go to Dublin though. But
Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, if you're going, we'll recommend a few places.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'll let you know when I head over.
But
yeah. But back to you. You did a TED Talk, and I was watching it earlier. And it was really impressive. Well, one thing that really got me, it was like your ripped hands from training. That looked horrible. Number one. And then here you went through all these injuries. Like people often think that athletes just get it perfect or that stuff like that doesn't happen, but a lot of it is recovery and injuries. So,
yeah.
So what was your experience of that anyway?
I actually was pretty good with injuries up until I'd probably say I was 17, 18. I didn't have a huge amount of injuries. I definitely didn't have any major injuries. And then I started to get the overload injuries, sort of just, I didn't actually do anything. I didn't fall. I didn't land funny, but it was just injuries based off of, you've been doing this a long time, and it takes its toll on your body. So I had, basically every year from 2008 onwards, I've had some sort of surgery, whether it be on my ankles or my hip. But yeah, it definitely takes its toll. But the whole recovery side of it is really important. I think only now, I don't want to say sport in general, but gymnastics specifically is kind of understanding the importance of balance and the importance of, when you start doing a lot of these numbers, you're a child, so you're still growing, your body's still growing and developing. So you really need to have to make sure that you adjust for that and that you, you just kind of teach smartly, I guess. Which it's a new sort of thing. But in saying that, I wouldn't have done anything differently because I had a goal and I would have done, like, there's nothing that would have stopped me achieving that goal. So, it's sort of a here and there, I guess.
Yeah.
Like that's clear from listening to your TED Talk as well, because like you were talking about how if someone said to you, oh yeah, like here's your goal, but you're gonna have to work for like 16 years to get there, and then you said like you would have said no to that. Yeah, exactly. If someone said that to you straight up, you'd be like, of course not, I'm not gonna work for 16 years to get to this thing. But like not like it's you were talking about it's all about perspective, like. Because you didn't know when the goal was going to be there, you just knew that you wanted it.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
However long that took you did it.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't, there was always smaller goals, and I always knew in the back of my mind that Olympics was a thing. But if I had aimed for Olympics when I was 6 years old, I don't think there's any way that I would have reached it, because it would have just been too much pressure, and I would have lost all perspective of the enjoyment out of what I was doing. But I was lucky enough to stay healthy until I was a certain age. But up until then, I guess I was unlucky in a certain way with, I got a lot of injuries after that, which, not to say that every gymnast gets injuries to that extent. So a lot of it was my, I guess, genetics in my bone structure and everything like that. But it's the definite repetitiveness of what you're doing has a part to play. I forgot what we were talking about.
It's okay. No, actually, I do sports as well. I did martial arts, and I do archery. And I was going to ask, a lot of people, once they get to a certain level, they can start taking themselves very seriously, and then get very upset if they do something wrong. Like, I know guys, if they miss like the yellow of a target, they're basically walking home for the day. They're done. They've lost or whatever.
Yeah.
They've already given up. Is that a thing in gymnastics? People mess something up and they just get really annoyed with it, or they take themselves very seriously?
Yeah, definitely. But I think that has a lot to do with what they were taught when they were developing as a gymnast, and what they were, I don't want to say the amount of talent, but I mean what coaches and other people sort of, how they behaved around how talented they were. I mean, I was never the best, so I was absolutely never the best gymnast. I was just there consistently. I just showed up consistently. And I think that, has a very strong part to play in how far you go. I mean, yeah, I forgot what your original question was again. Something to do with talent.
No, it was like, do people take themselves too seriously in your sport sometimes?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, yeah, again, your coach has a lot to play in that. I was pretty lucky with the coaches that I had. I mean, like I said, I was never the best. I was never super, super talented. So my coach was his personality in general was pretty laid back. And, if you fail, that's fine. Just try again and try it a different way. It was never like, if you failed, that's fine. Someone else will take your place. Like, that was never a thing.
Which is a thing in sports. That's a horrible feeling.
Yeah, it is definitely a thing in sport. And it's definitely a thing in sport when you've got a lot of talented athletes in one place, which it shouldn't be. I don't think it should be. I think that just happens somehow. But I think we're trying pretty hard to build a new sort of structure to make it so that, everyone's equally supportive and supported, and the ones that work hard, sure, if you want to work hard and you want to like go from here to here, then we're here to help you in whatever. And if you might be super talented, but if you don't want to put in the work, then like I can only do what I can do with you. That makes
talent
sense.
only gets you too far, or talent only gets you so far. Like,
exactly.
The rest is spine-breaking work.
Yeah.
Really difficult work. Yeah.
Definitely.
So moving on from
I'm not an athlete, so I can't relate. But I think my main sport is probably beer pong. So yeah.
Well, you do that pretty competitively anyway.
Yeah, there's not much dedication in that though.
Not in the Olympics, is it?
it's a pretty competitive sport. People get pretty fired up about it. So I wouldn't know. I'm counting yourself out.
I think there's like beer pong world championships, but I haven't seen any on for years. So maybe if they come back around, I'll qualify. Hopefully,
We'll get you there one day, Dara. Don't worry.
Work hard, you'll get there.
Yeah.
Sorry,
You can do it, Dara. No. I was gonna say. No, I'm after. Thanks, Dara. You messed me up.
I'm so sorry.
No, I was gonna say about moving on from like being an Olympian, which is like a huge deal. Like well done. You went into Ninja Warrior. What was your experience like in that? 'Cause we watched your runs and they were brilliant.
Yeah.
Thanks. They Ninja Warrior was I just honestly fell into it. I retired from sport and I think I just started coaching gymnastics at that point, but I wasn't really feeling it. I was studying something. I don't even remember what I was studying at the time, but again, I wasn't really feeling it. And Ninja Warrior happened, and I was like, sure, why not? Like, I'm not doing anything else right now. And
did you approach them, or did they approach you?
they approached our gym. So the gym that I had trained at my whole life, basically, they approached the gym and said if anyone was interested. And I sort of replied and said, yeah, I might, like, what is it? Like, what exactly is it? Like, I didn't have any idea what it was. And then I Google searched Ninja Warrior Melbourne, and I found the compound, which is where I train, and I went to session there, and it was pretty it was down on the Mornington Peninsula, which is about an hour and a half drive from Melbourne. And everything was handmade, and it was out in the open. It wasn't undercover, and it was just it was pretty rough, and I really, really liked it. It was just like there was no fancy equipment. There was no people being precious. And at that point, I guess from gymnastics, like I had my set way of doing things. I was really particular with, I need this to be like this, and then I'll do my routine or whatever it was. But Ninja Warrior kind of knocked that out of me, I guess, as much as it could. But yeah, I started training at the compound, and I did the show that first year, and it was pretty it was really, really fun, to be honest. I just I met lots of people, and everyone, there's a really strong ninja group of friends, I guess in each state, but everyone kind of knows each other. So there's a really good community there, and I really liked that. And I've been kind of training in ninja ever since. But in saying that, each year I do the show, I get more and more nervous. Like the first year, it was sort of nothing. Like it was it was a reality TV show. I trained 20 years of my life for a Olympic sport, and then I was doing a reality TV show. So it's pretty different. So I didn't really, I was just there for the experience. And then after the 2 seasons, especially after the second season where I did like fairly well, I just felt kind of more pressure. And I was very aware of the fact that it was on television, because, to be honest, artistic gymnastics in Australia, no one really watches it. No one really, pays attention unless, they happen to be flicking on when the Olympics is on every 4 years. We're doing our best to get it out there, but it's not the same as, a commercial reality TV show. So it was so interesting after I did that. You know, I remember filling up my car with petrol, and I'm going to pay for it, and the person behind the register was like, excuse me, were you a Ninja Warrior? And I was like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. Like a TV show that is on air once and I'm recognized for it, and something that I've dedicated my entire life for. I'm not really, which is fine. It's just interesting seeing the difference.
Yeah.
But I loved it.
Yeah, I went back and watched I think it was the 2017 and 2018 semi-finals, and there was one obstacle that just looked so painful. It was like you had to like climb up a chain, and I was just like, oh my god, like it just looked horrible. So like what how would you train for that? Like, did you have like the same obstacles or
how do you train for that
mock-ups
stuff?
or?
Like, you don't find like a warped wall anywhere. How do you train for something like that?
Yeah, well, at the time, I was like, oh my God, what is this obstacle? This is weird. I have no idea how to approach this, which is pretty obvious when you look at the footage. I had no idea what I was doing. But after that, there's a lot of gyms that have obstacles like that, and you just have to practice. That's all. You just have to practice the obstacles. The only hard thing is you just don't know what obstacles you're going to get.
Yeah.
Like there's, the compound has obstacles like that. The cannonballs and the nunchucks, they have a warped wall, and you just have to train for it. That's all. The thing that I struggle with is juggling the amount of spare time that I have.
I thought you were just going to say juggling. So sorry.
I just struggle with juggling. No, the juggling the amount of spare time that I have to be able to train. Like I wish that I could just quit my job and quit studying and just do Ninja Warrior full time and see how good I could actually get. But, in reality, I've got bills to pay, and I've got to, I want to get education, and I want to, learn and grow, and in all aspects of my life. And, Ninja Warrior is one aspect of my life.
So, like, when you go on Ninja Warrior, like, for the different courses and all, do you see the course at all before you, like, actually, like, try and go through it? Or is it more like, oh, they just put you in front of it and then you have to get through it without seeing it?
We get to see someone else do it one time.
Yeah.
So when we get told we're on that season, when we get to the course, when we're, backstage in the green room and everything, we have no idea what's happening. And then, a couple of hours before we're actually filmed, we see someone do it once. And that's basically it. Which, I guess is, I don't know, it could be helpful, could be not be helpful. It depends on the person, but yeah.
Yeah, it does sound hard, like, because you only get to see the person do it once, and then you have to try and memorize and analyze how they did it.
Yeah, definitely. And the hard thing is not getting in your own head about it, which is what I tend to do. I mean, I think that's what was different between how I did on the first couple of seasons towards the last couple of seasons that I did, because the first couple of seasons I didn't really think that much about it, to be honest. I just did it. And then, the last couple, I thought a lot about what I was doing and how to do it, and has it been done before, and did anyone do it overseas, and there's not much you can do within hours before doing an obstacle. So you may as well just do it and stop thinking, which some ninjas, that's what they do, and they do really well. I mean, look at, like Ashlyn and, Charlie in that from down on the peninsula. They just do it.
Yeah. What would you say is the hardest either course, like full course, or obstacle that you faced while you're on Ninja Warrior? Like,
Just thinking.
Oh, what have I done here?
I'm just trying to remember what they all were. I mean, it's as a shorter individual, it's never nice having to do a wall on TV because I don't know. It's just it's always a struggle for me. It's never something that I'm like, oh, it's a wall, I can do that. It's always like a okay, come on, you can do it. Come on, up the wall.
No, I love seeing that. You didn't get the first 2 times, and the third time you got it, and it was just everyone cheered. It was so good.
Yeah. I actually got asked after that whether or not I did that on purpose, whether or not I deliberately missed the first 2, and I was like, why would I want to put myself in that situation of this is my last chance? Such a silly question.
How tall is the wall?
Oh, I should know this.
If you don't know, it's fine.
I don't know. I should, because I feel like I ask all the time, and I feel like I tell the head of the compound that he's made it taller each time I try for it. 14 foot. 14. Oh yeah, that's right. 14 foot's like the standard, but then 14 point something inches is 4.3 meters. Yeah, so the one that we train on is like a little bit higher than the standard.
Jesus.
Whatever that means.
On earth, I'm just looking at the second picture here. This guy, how? And
it's all about where. I don't want to say it's all about because I have no idea. I don't do it every single time, but I think it has a lot to do with where you put your feet. Because if you put your last step too high, you slip. But if you put it too low, you don't make the leap. But in saying that, if you're incredibly strong or incredibly tall, it doesn't matter. You just run at it and get up. But I have to be a little bit more strategic in how I approach it.
I've seen guys who were, I think they're on the same season, or they're on the same time as Jaden Irving, and that guy was 6'6", and then he failed it, and I don't know how, but then watching your one, you're 5'3", and on the last one you nailed it. That was really impressive to see.
Yeah, it was when I watched the footage back, it was a big difference between my first 2 and my third attempt. I don't know what happened. I think I just got my foot in the right place, because the third attempt was, I was like, boop, not that bad.
In the way they edited it, it was like a guy screams like, "You gotta jump," and then he jumped.
Yeah.
Yeah, the comment section loved that part.
The comment section. I haven't checked out the comment section. I'm too scared.
No, it's all good things. It's all good things.
Oh, good.
Jesus. 14-foot wall. Like, I struggle to get over like a 4-foot wall. Like.
Yeah. Ninja Warrior. Crazy stuff.
Definitely.
But you also did a TED Talk. How did you get on for TED? Like, did they contact you?
Yeah, they contacted me, and it was actually a really crazy time for me. I had I don't even remember off the top of my head, but I had a couple of like big projects on at the same time, and then Ted contacted me and asked me to do this talk, and like it's a fantastic opportunity. I'm not going to say no, but it was a pretty crazy week because I didn't have a huge amount of time to prepare for it. So it was a pretty crazy week to try and get everything together for this talk. And I remember the morning of my internet went out, and I couldn't I couldn't save my slides or print out anything, and I was like in panic mode, and I was in panic mode as soon as I got there, and I was trying so hard to calm down when I was there. But it was a fantastic experience, and I listened to a lot of the other TED Talks that happened that day, and yeah, it was wonderful. It was really, really good experience.
It was a very good talk, I have to admit now. It was very motivational, like.
I've heard from other people who've done TED that like they're super like strict. You got to know it. They got to script this thing, and you got to learn it off by heart. And they'll yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty strict with their requirements, which which is great, but it just added on to the pressure that I had at the time. So I hope it turned out, or I tried my best for it, and I tried to put out what I really believed in for that topic, because they gave me a particular topic, and I could interpret it in any way that I wanted. So I really tried to make it something that I believed in and something that I thought was important for people to know. So I guess I hope that came across.
Mission accomplished.
Thank you.
Definitely came across, yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
You actually kind of changed my perspective when you started talking about perspective. Yeah,
Great.
some of the examples you gave really made me think.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was impressive.
Thank you.
So, what's next for you anyway? Like, do you have anything big planned?
Right now, I'm still kind of chipping away at my study. I've been doing psychology for like 4 years now. So I'm still kind of chipping away at that. Whether or not I want to decide to, completely commit to that, I'm not sure yet, but I know that it's helping me in life in general. It's helping me but also coaching, especially coaching kids. It's really helping me, find the best possible method of teaching and method of, just helping them enjoy what they're doing while they're learning. Apart from that, I've just been coaching, really trying to put a strong plan together for, the post-COVID era of training in gymnastics, which is something no one's, I think, experienced before. So everyone, I guess, is in new territory. But in saying that, it's the same sort of formula as coming back from injury or coming back from holiday. You just got to adjust. So, I'm in the middle of doing that at the moment. Hopefully building some really strong athletes, getting them to be really well-rounded individuals. That's my sort of goal. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a gymnastics coach now, aren't you?
Yeah, I coach gymnastics. It's sort of, initially I fell into it, I guess, from being an athlete myself and just purely needing a job and something to do. And I started it, and then I didn't actually like it to begin with, because I couldn't really relate to, I didn't understand how to teach. But, I've really kind of understood that a bit more now, and how to break things down and how to relate to kids. And I really love teaching kids because they're so funny. Kids are hilarious. They're just so unpredictable and so
You have any funny stories for us?
Just can't even. I don't know. When there was a moment, there was a time last year. I was teaching a group of kids, and they used to really like telling me jokes. Jokes sort of, pretty simple, like, why did the surfer fall off his surfboard? Because the seaweed, that sort of thing. And I would just pretend not to understand them all the time. Just pretend not to get their jokes, which would infuriate them, and they'll just continue to try and explain their joke and why it was so funny. And I'll just keep kind of going, I just don't get it. Like the sea can't can it? Like I don't get why it's just infuriate them, and it is just
that
so
sounds
much
adorable.
Oh no, I
Bunch of
completely
kids trying to tell you
understand
that the seaweed.
fun. They're just so much to play with, and I mean, it's so easy to teach kids when the kids and myself are having fun and playing. Like it's so easy when that happens. It's great. I just love it.
No, I completely relate to that because when I was in Australia, I have two nieces and a nephew, and anytime I'd have them, like I'd be taking care of them while their parents were out. If they'd say I was like they were hungry, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, hi hungry, I'm Dara." And then like at the start it was funny to them, and then at some point it just started to like piss them off completely. They just started to get really angry at me.
That's great.
He does that with just about everything. Kids, good man, Dara. Does my head in. I just noticed there.
Makes for a good podcast.
Sorry?
Makes for a good podcast.
It does, yeah.
Exactly. So stop shitting on me, dude.
Actually, speaking of people we shit on, Thomas isn't here today. Thomas, I think Thomas was the one that contacted you originally.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, Thomas.
I think he had a doctor's thing or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
Or he probably hasn't woken up yet. Something stupid.
I'm surprised we actually didn't do what we did with you the other day because Jared wasn't on the podcast the other day, so we told everyone he died. Yeah, it was the first time he's missed a podcast, so we told everyone that. I think, what exactly did I say? I said he went up in a fighter jet, then ejected so he could skydive. The parachute didn't deploy. He landed in Antarctica and then got trampled by camels.
Did you see the stuff I have to deal with in this podcast?
And then, no way, it gets better because someone texted me like, "Yo, what happened with Jared?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And then they were like, "Oh yeah, someone told me he quit." And I was like, "No, we were joking."
Yeah. That's what I gotta deal with. These guys are great. Yeah, good man there. Yeah, we do it daily, and we've done it daily the last 41 days. It's been great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not Joe Rogan, but it'll do for now.
Someone actually told me it was like Irish Joe Rogan the other day, and I was like, "Holy shit!" What a compliment. Someone actually said to me the other day, when we put up the episode with Charles from Breaking Bad.
From Breaking Bad, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I put it up on my Snapchat and someone texted me. They were like, "There's no fucking way you got him." And I was like, "Yeah." And they were like, "It's like Joe Rogan, but Irish." And I was like, "Thanks." What the fuck?
So you had a podcast with someone from Breaking Bad?
We did, yeah. Do you know, wait, have you seen the show?
I've seen the show, yeah.
Do you know Skinny Pete?
Oh, yes, yep. Okay.
Yeah, we had him on, yeah.
Oh, that's
Charles
awesome.
Baker. Brilliant guy. Very, very motivational talk he gave us, actually.
Yeah.
Right.
dealing with low confidence and dealing with unfortunate circumstances. Amazing guy.
It's fantastic.
Talked about Canaries with him. That was great.
I was going to ask about your tattoo there. Is that the Olympic rings?
Is it this one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got it done. When did I get it? I actually got it done like a couple of years after London. Because I remember 2008, people would get the tattoo, and at that point in time, I was like, yeah, I just don't see the point in getting my body marked permanently for something that I remember. Like, I don't have to prove to anyone else with a symbol on my body that I went to the Olympics. Like, it's not important. I know.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, 2014 or something. I was. Can I swear on this?
Of course, yeah.
We've been doing it too. It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, 2014 came around, and I was basically just like, fuck it, I'll get it done. Why not? Like, I'm not doing it. It was at that point in time where I was just finished. I just retired, and I was like, I'm not doing anything else at the moment with my life. I may as well get a tattoo. Why not?
We've got some interesting tattoo stories on this podcast so far. By any chance, was there alcohol involved in that decision?
Not this one. Not this one. Maybe my future ones though.
Should we tell the story of Paul's tattoo?
Paul Roseberry, legendary comedian.
Paul Roseberry is a comedian, and we had him on, and he was
funniest guy ever met.
Yeah, he's hilarious. Like, and he was living out in California, and he was telling us that he was dropping acid maybe 3 to 4 times a week, and yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. And he told us that one day he like, I can't remember, a girl broke up with him or something. So,
yeah, a girl broke his heart, and he was really mad about it. So he went to a tattoo parlor, this huge, jacked, hulking guy, and said, "Oh, how much to get a love heart with like bitch written on it?" And the guy was like, "You're out of your fucking mind, Paul. What are you doing in here?" And then fucking Paul says, or no, the guy agrees, like, "Yeah, I'll do it for you, $150, but ring up, make sure you want it done. I'll do it for you." So Paul leaves, and then he gets done for like $20 by a guy in the street.
Yeah, on the way home, he like hops off the bus and sees like this it was like Korean or Vietnamese tattoo shop with a guy who he's like in a lab coat, and he walked in. He was like, "Oh yeah, I want to get this done." He's like, "Okay," and he's like, "How much?" And he's like, $100. And he was like, "Okay." He's like, "So when are we doing it?" And he's like, "Now." So he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay."
What was Paul's exact words? "We do now."
Yeah.
We do.
Yes, that's the kind of guys we have on the podcast.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, no, that's a pretty good looking tattoo, if I'll be honest. Yeah,
actually,
hard
which is pretty cool.
You say that again? You cut off?
I said I actually got it for free, which is pretty cool.
Oh.
Yeah, there was a place in Melbourne City that was that said I heard from like one of the athletes that they were doing the Olympic rings tattoo for free for the athletes that came home from London. And I was like, okay, do me right here, if it's for free. Love.
Gotta get your money's worth, like.
Yeah, you're not
Sorry.
Have to get the money's worth.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you have to like prove you were an Olympian, or did they know like?
Well, I didn't know how that would work at the time, and I remember going up to them and telling them, and sort of awkwardly and shyly saying, I can prove it to you if you want me to. Like, I really don't want to have to do that, but can you just trust me based on my word? And they were fine with that. So I didn't actually have to show them any proof at all.
And what kind of
Luckily.
weirdo goes in and is like, yeah, I was in the Olympics, and like they weren't in the Olympics. Yeah, just
Yeah.
give me an Olympic tattoo like on my forehead, please.
Right here. Right.
That's probably something I'd do.
Yeah, good one, Dara.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've covered enough and have told you some useless stories. Uh,
Great.
no, it's been great to have you on. You're a very inspirational person.
Yeah, thank you.
Your TED Talk's amazing. Your runs on Ninja Warrior are amazing. I haven't seen your things from the Olympics, but I'm sure they're amazing as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Thanks.
obviously, thanks for getting on. If people want to go follow you or they want to find you or get in contact with you, how can they do that?
Yeah, if they just they can follow me on Instagram, which is, I'm pretty sure it's just Georgia Benora. Yep, Georgia Benora. Yeah, I'm up on Instagram. So if they want to follow me and see what I'm up to, then yeah, they can
Grand.
can do that. Instagram, I think I'm on I'm on Facebook too. I think I am. Sorry, all these social medias. Instagram, Facebook.
Just
I've got Twitter. I know I've got Twitter.
making sure that's
But
you.
yeah, there we are. There it is. Good one. Thank you.
This is a very flattering picture.
Right.
Just zoom in right on my face.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna leave videos of stuff we talked about linked in the description. We'll leave your Instagram and your Twitter linked as well. And
Yeah. No.
for coming on. And thank everyone
Thanks
for
for getting
watching.
on. So thanks
Thanks.
everyone for watching. Hope you learned something. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, tell your grandma about the podcast, and take her handy.